House of Whipcord is one alongside Frightmare and Call It Carol that has always been available since the days of VHS. It starts with a rallying cry for the reprisal of capital punishment. You can almost hear this sound. That's the sound of 1,000 Daily Mails being thrust skyward. A young Frenchwoman meets the charming and attractive, albeit odd man, Marquis de Sade. Get it? At a photography party. They plan a weekend together to meet the family. She instead gets dropped off at a private correctional facility, put on trial, and imprisoned and tortured by sadistic, sapphic wardens. It's not the film I expected. For some reason I always thought House of Whipcord was another one of Walker's proto-slashers, along with Schizo and Frightmare. It's a women in prison film, and a darn good one, with its tongue firmly rooted in its cheek. For those unfamiliar with WIP or women in prison films, I feel a bit like I'm preaching to the perverted on this channel, but anyway, women in prison films have young women who are locked up on trumped up charges, in House of Whipcord's case, posing for nudie photographs.
Of a serious charge for exposing yourself unclothed without shame for monetary gain to a photographer in a public place.
The women then find themselves in the worst possible situation. The living nightmare of it all is they can't go to the wardens as they are corrupt, the police are often paid off, and the outside world either doesn't care or is ignorant to their suffering. It's a subgenre of exploitation that peaked during the 70s and early 80s with films like Barbed Wire Dolls, Lost Souls and the sublime Nightmare in Badham County. They're rarely made these days, with directors preferring straight-up kidnap and torture films, like the many remakes and remixes and sequels of older films that plague the likes of Netflix. There is of course men in prison films like Scum, Stir and Starred Up, all of which come highly recommended, but they simply get branded prison films and never inspire the same level of fandom as their female-fronted counterparts, which brings us back to House of Whipcord. It comes recommended to horror fans, especially those interested in Britsploitation. It has bags of atmosphere, like all of the Pete Walker films, with day for night shots straight out of Hammer's best. The film is made all the more eerie, given it was filmed around the Forest of Dean, a stomping ground of Fred and Rose West. The acting is surprisingly good, with British-born glamour model Penny Irving giving a scream queen performance as French girl Anne-Marie de Vernay.
You hear? Same way as you do. He's their son, I think. Wakehurst and the judges. Oh, shut up, you silly girl. Look down the corridor.
Pete Walker regular Sheila Keith as the sadistic warden, and you won't be disappointed because she's as scary as ever. And I particularly liked Patrick Barr as the amnesiac blind judge, a metaphor if ever there was one.
Your stay.
During your stay here, the length of which will be determined by your conduct.
It's all very twisted stuff, with great writing and characterisation from regular Pete Walker collaborator David McGillivray. The only real criticisms I've got, at over 100 minutes, like a lot of Pete Walker films, it could be reduced down by 20 for a tighter film. Authority is often expected as being corrupt in the 21st century, and this deadens some of the impact that it would have had during its original release. For non-horror and exploitation fans, it has limited appeal. I'm okay with that. It's 1,000 times more plausible and entertaining than the unfunny horror homages that are considered mainstream entertainment. In short, I've no hesitation recommending what is a thriller which is more class than trash, and if you've seen it, let me know what you thought, especially with the Pete Walker box set on the way. I've also reviewed some obscure entries in his back catalogue on Free for Friday, link at the end and below.
He was a gate crasher with a phony name, Mark Dessart.
No, it's more than that. First of all, he makes sure that no one can trace him, and then he disappears with Anne-Marie.
But Julia, you don't know that he was the one she went away with, do you?
No, I don't know. Am I being silly?
No, just being you.